Hello everyone, and welcome to Cinema Crave. As usual, today we're going to take a look at the latest events happening in the world of cinema. If you'd like to stay updated on movie news every week, make sure to subscribe to our newly launched channel. Today, we'll be talking about the impact artificial intelligence is having on cinema, as well as some upcoming movie releases. And, as always, let's jump right into it. So, first let's take a look at a few of the more controversial stories that could have a major impact on cinema. Naturally, the first one is about artificial intelligence. Over the past week, some news slowly started coming out from agents suggesting that there's a company which has developed an AI actor and is now trying to strike deals with film studios. The company behind this AI is called Particle 6, and the AI actor they've created is named Telenorud. Apparently, there are no restrictions when it comes to signing contracts, meaning this actor could potentially appear in, say, 100 movies in just a single year. The company has also openly stated that it's ready to collaborate with anyone who's interested. Later, videos of this AI actor went viral online. Before that, it was relatively unknown. Its YouTube channel had only around 2,000 subscribers, and its early videos barely reached 5,000 views. But after the news went viral, its latest video suddenly racked up 600,000 views. The same company that created this AI actor also produced a promotional video in which none of the people appearing are real, especially the newly designed actor who plays a central role in the video. It's almost hard to believe that this person isn't real. The AI actor was officially unveiled on September 17 at the Zurich Film Festival. The company behind it was founded back in 2015 by a woman who, interestingly enough, is also an actress herself. According to rumors, the company's strategy is to first introduce their actor in short appearances in commercials. If the performance proves successful, they reportedly aim to strike deals with streaming services, particularly Netflix. The idea is that platforms like Netflix, which produce a huge amount of content, could hire an actor at a very low cost. When this news broke, the Screen Actors Guild in the US quickly responded, condemning such technology. They stated that creativity has always been human-centered and emphasized that what this company has built is not an actor at all, but rather a computer-generated character trained on the performances of real actors without ever receiving their permission. Online, the reactions have been very mixed. Some people supported it, while others turned it into memes. On YouTube, the video received thousands of dislikes. Many argued that, like it or not, progress is happening. Others pointed out that even if big studios accept this new actor, the smile it gives will always look artificial. In any case, this AI actor represents a major step forward in the world of artificial intelligence, with the potential to deeply impact cinema. Some predict it could eventually take over the entire market unless unions step in, lobby against it, and push for strict regulations to prevent AI from replacing human actors. For now, we just have to wait and see, will this really happen or not? Another controversial story involves Donald Trump, who once again made headlines last week with a tweet repeating his old statements. If you remember, back when he first ran for president, he constantly talked about imposing tariffs on films produced outside the United States. Last week, he repeated the same idea in his tweet, saying he would 100% impose taxes on foreign-made films. He claimed that his goal is to save Hollywood and ensure that jobs in the film industry are created within US borders. In his tweet, he even said that foreigners have stolen our film industry the same way someone would snatch candy from a child. However, Trump and his team have not provided any details on how such a complex law would actually work. For this reason, analysts believe this is more of a threat than a serious policy that could realistically be implemented. If such a policy were actually implemented, it could have a massive impact on cinema. For example, films like the new Lord of the Rings spin-off, such as The Hunt for Gollum, would no longer be possible, because if the production had a budget of $200 million and was filmed in New Zealand, they would then have to pay another $200 million in taxes. That would immediately push the film out of profitability. Similarly, franchises like Mission Impossible would also struggle to get made. Rising production budgets would drive up ticket prices, and streaming services would be forced to raise their subscription fees. Ironically, analysts suggest this might actually cost Hollywood jobs instead of creating them. For this reason, many believe the idea will remain just talk and will never be put into action. Another story involving Trump last week was his second major financial victory against large media corporations in 2025. Previously, he had won a case against Paramount, receiving $16 million after claiming they published false reports about him during the election period. Now, just last week, he reached a settlement with YouTube. The platform agreed to pay him $24.5 million in exchange for dropping his lawsuit. The case stemmed from YouTube's suspension of Trump's account in 2021 following the January 6 attack on the Capitol. Trump sued, arguing that this violated his right to free speech. The matter never went to trial, as YouTube settled outside of court. Analysts believe that if Trump's lawsuit had continued, it could have cost Google much more in the long run. That's likely why they decided to settle at this stage, effectively putting an end to the case. After this victory, Trump celebrated on his social media platforms, calling it a total win against the censors. There are even rumors, though not officially confirmed, that Trump joked about using half of the settlement money to build a gold-plated dining hall in the White House. Moving on to the next story, Netflix had some interesting updates last week. The biggest headline was the announcement of a live-action adaptation of the anime Demon Slayer. What makes this particularly exciting is that the anime is still in theaters right now, and its box office revenue has already reached $617 million. To put that into perspective, it has become the 7th highest grossing film of 2025, even surpassing Superman. Netflix has been pursuing a clear strategy over the past few years, turning massively popular anime into live-action projects, as they did with One Piece and Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, they've acquired the rights to Demon Slayer and have already begun writing the screenplay for its live-action adaptation. Last week, Netflix also faced some controversy after Elon Musk posted a tweet urging parents to cancel their Netflix subscriptions in order to protect the health of their children. Musk's post went viral, receiving 830,000 likes, 126,000 reposts, and nearly 67 million views. In other words, it absolutely blew up. His comment was made in response to another user's post, and it's specifically related to the Netflix animated series Dead End. The show is intended for children, and Netflix has rated it as suitable for ages 7 and up. However, the series includes transgender characters, which sparked Musk's reaction. Following his tweet, several hashtags calling for people to cancel their Netflix subscriptions started trending on Twitter. Interestingly, Netflix's stock price fell by about 3% around the same time. While it can't be said with certainty that Musk's tweet was the direct cause, the timing coincided exactly with the viral post. Netflix itself did not issue any direct response to Elon Musk's comments. However, the media hasn't let go of the story that easily. Last week, an episode of Gen V was released featuring a goat used to test one of the character's powers. In the show, a character worries, "What if I hit the goat by mistake?" The response was, "Don't worry, we'll just rename them after the wrongdoers." For example, the goat in the episode was jokingly referred to as Elon Musk, so even if something happened to it, it was fine.
What if I kill Elon?
That's why we named them for assholes.
Another strange piece of news from Netflix involved the showrunner of The Witcher. In a recent interview, he addressed criticism of the new season, which many fans have not even watched due to the backlash. The showrunner became frustrated and insisted that Henry Cavill's departure had nothing to do with the script. He stated that claims suggesting the script changes forced Cavill to leave were completely false. Cavill left because he wanted to work on other projects where he could achieve greater success. The showrunner added that they could not force anyone to stay, and so they let him go. However, his comments sparked further criticism on social media, with many accusing him of lying. Moving on to the next topic. Upcoming films and series. Damien Chazelle has been planning a new movie for some time, but each attempt has faced obstacles. His last project, Babylon, was a commercial failure, resulting in a $100 million loss for the production company. The young director, who previously won an Academy Award for La La Land, had planned a film about the life of a stuntman starring Leonardo DiCaprio, but that project was also canceled. Last week, Damien Chazelle officially started a new project. Cillian Murphy and Daniel Craig have been cast, along with Sarah Ronan and Mikey Madison as the female leads. The story revolves around several prisoners planning a rebellion and escape from a large prison. The initial contracts have been signed, and if no major issues arise, filming is expected to begin in 2026 with a likely release in 2027. We'll have to see whether he can finally complete this project or if it will be canceled again. Another upcoming film news involves director Ari Aster, known for Midsummer. His new movie, titled Enemies, stars Payman Maadi, Austin Butler, and Jeremy Allen White. The film will be produced by A24 and is a crime thriller about a political murder. A detective is assigned to find the killer, but the more he investigates, the more he realizes that the murderer closely resembles himself. Payman Maadi is also currently working on another film called Crime 101, starring alongside Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, and Halle Berry. This movie is still in production and is expected to be released in 2026. Another piece of news about an upcoming film was rather disappointing. Many fans of Daniel Day-Lewis were eagerly awaiting his new movie, Anemone. Last week, the film had a test screening for critics, and to everyone's surprise, it received a Rotten Tomatoes score of 59 and a Metacritic score of 54. Even the critic from the well-known San Francisco Chronicle gave it a 0, commenting that Daniel Day-Lewis returned from an 8-year retirement only to star in the worst film of his career. As previously reported, the movie was directed by Daniel Day-Lewis's son, and apparently the actor only agreed to participate for his son's sake. Many believe it was not the best decision. Daniel Day-Lewis spoke to reporters particularly regarding his 2017 decision to come out of retirement for this project. Whenever reporters asked him why, he would give only one firm response, saying seriously that it was a private decision and no one else had the right to know why. Now, he has spoken again, admitting that back in 2017, he was being a bit ridiculous. Interestingly, he added that even now, coming back to acting, he might be making a similar mistake again. Moving on to other upcoming films, the director of The Incredibles series was originally supposed to make The Incredibles 3. However, before starting work on that project, he signed a new deal with Netflix to produce an animated film called Ray Gun. Apparently, the director had been trying for 25 years to get studios to fund this project without success, until Netflix finally agreed. Pre-production has already begun, and the animation is scheduled to be released in 2026. Only after that will work on The Incredibles 3 officially start. The story of Ray Gun is set in a private detective agency far in the future, at a time when humans and aliens live together. The detective is tasked with solving a human murder case. Another piece of news about upcoming films goes back to one of Simpsons' predictions. A new cinematic version of The Simpsons is set to be made the second movie from this beloved series. The first film was released in 2007, almost 20 years ago. In that movie, there was a scene where writing appeared on a chalkboard saying, "We won't wait 20 years to make another movie." Now, after nearly 2 decades, the creators are finally making the second installment. The first animated movie earned approximately $536 million worldwide, so it remains to be seen whether the sequel can achieve the same level of success. The last news about upcoming films involves Pirates of the Caribbean. The production team still hasn't been able to convince all the actors to return. Previously, Orlando Bloom agreed to join the film, but with one condition: Johnny Depp must also be part of it. Last week, Keira Knightley officially announced that she has no interest in returning for the new installments. She explained that she has reached a point in her life where her adventuring days are over. Analysts also speculate that the reception of the last 2 Pirates films, which, although financially successful, were critically panned, may have influenced her decision. However, the producers haven't given up. Without mentioning Knightley by name, they confirmed that Margot Robbie is still part of the new Pirates of the Caribbean film. If negotiations go well, Robbie will star alongside Johnny Depp, essentially replacing Keira Knightley in the franchise. For the next story, let's move on to celebrities. Last week, most of the celebrity photos we saw were from Paris Fashion Week, featuring stars from Emma Stone to Zendaya, especially Ana de Armas, whose pictures went viral online. Other attendees included Jennifer Connelly, Johnny Depp, Kristen Milioti, Rebecca Ferguson, Charleston, and Jenna Ortega. As usual, Jenna Ortega drew criticism on social media for both her outfit and makeup. A much more controversial story last week involved Emma Watson, who made headlines. In the previous week's news, we reported that Watson had spoken about J.K. Rowling, saying that although she disagrees with Rowling on transgender issues, she has always liked her. Last week, Rowling responded with a 700-word statement. In it, she described Watson as inexperienced, arguing that Watson has lived so much of her life in wealth and fame that she doesn't understand poverty or the struggles faced by poor girls alongside transgender individuals. Rowling said, "Unlike Emma Watson, I was always poor in my youth, and during that time, I wrote a book that made Emma Watson wealthy." Rowling also shared an anecdote. Back in 2021, when she spoke out against transgender issues, she faced a massive backlash, including death threats. According to Rowling, Watson sent her a letter through an intermediary not directly expressing sympathy for what Rowling was going through. However, Rowling claims that a few days later, Watson spoke against her publicly, which intensified the canceling and boycotting of Rowling. Rowling concluded that she believes Watson is not inherently kind or compassionate, but rather appears caring on the surface. This statement caused a major controversy online, and so far, Emma Watson has not responded to Rowling's remarks. Another celebrity story involves Sydney Sweeney, who really knows how to keep herself in the headlines. Last week, she celebrated her 28th birthday with a space-themed party called Planet Sydney. Guests were expected to dress as astronauts, aliens, and other space-related characters. Sydney herself did something similar to what she had done at the Oscars. If you remember, at the Oscars, she wore a dress previously worn by Angelina Jolie. For her birthday, she wore a dress once worn by Britney Spears, clearly showing she knows how to channel stars from past generations. The decorations were extravagant, including a custom-made cosmic birthday cake. Many celebrities attended, such as Glenn Powell, and even Jeff Bezos with his spouse. An interesting moment from the party was Sydney introducing her new boyfriend. He is 44 years old, 16 years her senior, and his name is Scooter Braun, the longtime manager of singers like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber. However, his reputation has suffered in recent years due to financial mismanagement and allegations of fraud from both artists. Many on social media are speculating that Sydney's relationship with him may not be very serious or long-lasting. A similar celebrity story last week involved a longtime couple. Nicole Kidman and her husband have decided to separate after 19 years of marriage. The news was very sudden, and for the first few hours, many people couldn't believe it. Everyone had always thought of them as a perfect couple, but ultimately, the two decided to divorce. There are many rumors surrounding the split, as no official statement has been released. It is reported that Nicole Kidman filed for divorce, but rumors suggest that she was actually opposed to it until the very end, and it was her husband who wanted the separation. Since the beginning of summer, the couple hasn't been living together. Nicole's husband moved to a different residence, and both cited irreconcilable differences as the reason for the split. Analysts speculate that distance and busy schedules contributed to their issues. Over the past few years, Nicole traveled frequently and appeared on movie red carpets, while her husband was often on separate concert tours. Essentially, they had not been living together closely for years, which likely led to the rift. The couple has 2 children, and custody is reportedly expected to go to Nicole Kidman. The children are already teenagers, one is 17 and the other is 14. The older daughter is currently in Paris, working as a model and attending fashion events, and has her own career and income. It is estimated that Nicole Kidman has a net worth of around $180 million, while her husband has approximately $170 million. Apparently, they have reached an agreement regarding the division of assets, and their divorce is expected to be finalized very soon. Another interesting celebrity story, remember when we covered the Oscars and mentioned Kieran Culkin? When he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, he shared that a few years ago he had told his wife he wanted to have another child. To get him off her back, his wife said, "Win an Oscar, and if you do, I'll allow us to have a third child." Last year, Culkin won the Oscar, and now last week it was announced that they are expecting their third child. His wife added that now everyone can see she is a woman who stands by her word. The couple already has 2 children, a daughter and a son. The last two celebrity news items are shorter. The first is Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco, who got married. They shared photos from their wedding on social media, which quickly went viral. The final story involves Benny Safdie. If you remember from a few weeks ago, we mentioned that early in his career, Safdie used to promote films like Daddy Longlegs, which is considered one of the lowest profile jobs in the industry. Now, he has become a director whose films even star The Rock, such as Knockout Machine. Recently, recalling his early days, Safdie once again promoted his film in a very public way, this time by advertising Knockout Machine in the New York City subway. Moving on to box office news. Last week, two films led the charts. The most prominent was One Battle After Another, which in its opening week earned $60 million and claimed the top spot at the box office. Audiences who saw the film on opening night gave it an A rating on CinemaScore, the highest possible score for an adult-oriented film. This also marks the highest rating in Paul Thomas Anderson's career and the second highest for Leonardo DiCaprio. With this film topping the charts, it becomes the fourth decade in which DiCaprio has had a film at number 1. There were a few notable side stories from this film's premiere. One involved photos from the IMAX screenings, highlighting the enormous size of the theater screen. These images quickly went viral online. Another focused on Sean Penn's very tired appearance. The actor has aged, and after attending multiple opening events daily for nearly 2 weeks, fatigue was visible on the red carpet. Fans joked, saying it looked like they had run the entire way. During a red carpet interview for the film, Leonardo DiCaprio was asked about his new collaboration with Martin Scorsese. He revealed that the upcoming project, produced by Apple TV, is inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's classic film Vertigo. The new film is titled What Happens at Night, and DiCaprio stars alongside Jennifer Lawrence. The movie promises a mysterious and suspenseful theme. As I mentioned, two films dominated the box office last week. The second was the anime Demon Slayer, which pushed its total box office earnings to $619 million. Now, let's move on to the final story, spicy news. This week's spicy news involves Vera Farmiga, who currently has The Conjuring in theaters. She gave an exclusive interview with E! News, claiming that while filming The Conjuring, bruises suddenly appeared on her leg in the shape of a cross, and she didn't know where they came from. She even shared a photo of it. She went on to make an even more intriguing claim. Similar incidents have happened to her in every Conjuring film she's appeared in, taking different forms. For example, once there was a scratch on her body, another time a mark resembling claw marks appeared. She added that she's not the only actor affected. Other cast members have experienced similar things, especially around 3 a.m., known as the witching hour. After the interview, many people were skeptical because the film is currently in theaters, and such stories naturally help the movie trend online and boost ticket sales. Some even suspected the bruises were photoshopped, while others believed her claims. For instance, the Instagram post she shared received 500,000 likes and helped the hashtag number Conjuring Curse trend on Twitter. The Conjuring has so far earned between $350, $400 million, and its sales had slowed slightly. So many speculate that this interview was a clever way to give the box office a second boost. That's it for this week's video. I hope you found it interesting. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, and we'll see you next week with more entertainment news.